Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. It's a wonderful Friday evening, and in a few moments, I'll be sharing my Ready to Love Miami Episode 12 finale review. And because this is the last episode before the reunion, I'm going to just give you a commentary of everything that happened for the episode. I'll give my overall rating for the episode, and I'll cap the review off with giving my thoughts for the season as a whole. But before we get into the review, I must say that this is a match that I did not see coming. But Sabrina from the Potomac season and Walter from the DC season of Ready to Love are officially a couple. I never imagined these two together, but if they're happy, then so am I. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. The episode kicks off with the cast members meeting up for brunch, and the setup is pretty awkward to say the least. The guys, as well as Charisse, are sitting at a table together, while Kayla and Jay are sitting at different tables. The only people that are communicating at this point are the guys sitting at the table. Brandy and Katie then join the scene, and they, along with Jay, go to sit over with Kayla. And it doesn't take us long to learn that Katie and Swayze aren't on speaking terms because they had a fight the night prior. Luckily, nephew Tommy arrives to break up the tension in the room. Upon arrival, he gives Charisse the floor, and Charisse makes a big speech about why she had to eliminate Samson and why she decided to self-eliminate. While I really wasn't shocked by this, I was definitely shocked at Katie and Swayze self-eliminating from the process. Their issues throughout this season were well documented, and I never really thought that they were a good fit for one another. But if I'm not mistaken, they're still together to this day. But after those three cast members leave the show, we're left with Randall, Mike, Jay, Brandy, and Kayla. Nephew Tommy then tells the men that they have to introduce the women to their family. Mike is up first, and he invites his brother to meet Brandy. Brandy arrives, and right off the bat, Mike's brother drills her, and he asks some very important questions. And as we already know, Brandy tells his brother that she's never really been in love before, and she has a long history of being in situationships, which poses a few questions for the brother. And I gotta agree with the brother on this. As a man, if I hear that a woman has never been in love before, and she's over 30 years old, that spider sense starts tingling. And this doesn't mean that somebody like Brandy is incapable of being in love, but one has to ask, is she really ready right now? Next up, Mike has his brother meet Kayla, and in my opinion, Kayla does a far better job at answering the questions that Mike's brother has. But the primary difference between Brandy and Kayla meeting Mike's brother is that Brandy was more fun to be around, whereas Kayla was considered to be a little bit more bougie, but seemingly more interested in who Mike was as a person. We then see Randall inviting his brother to meet Kayla. Randall's brother grills Kayla, and Kayla does a good job at explaining her feelings for Randall, as well as why she moved the way that she did. The meeting was anything but lighthearted, and things weren't looking good for Kayla. But we then see Randall inviting his brother to meet Jay, and Jay answers all the questions that Randall's brother had with satisfaction. Randall's brother left the experience giving Jay his approval over Kayla. We then get a scene where Randall invites Kayla out for a candlelit dinner. And while Kayla initially believed that this dinner would be pretty friendly, it turns out that Randall was using the dinner to let Kayla know that he won't be picking her. And the problem at hand is that Kayla had to essentially beg him to tell her what Stevie Wonder could have seen from 10 episodes ago. Randall leads with his actions and not his words. He has been kissing Jay on the lips, cupping the booty meat, and giving her that beef injection for quite some time at this point. He never showed a fraction of that energy to any other woman on the show. And for comparison purposes, I would compare Jay and Randall to Clifton and Joy from last season. But we're finally at the choosing ceremony, and Randall asks Jay to be his woman. Of course she says yes. Mike then asks Brandy to be his woman, which wasn't really a surprise, but she says yes as well. Now overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give this finale a solid 1. There was really no reason for Charisse to be on the episode. There was really no reason for Katie and Swayze to make it this far in the season. There was really no reason for Kayla to be on this episode because she had been strung along for the past 6 episodes. The outcome of this finale could have been predicted about 8 episodes ago, and this as a finale was largely forgettable, except for the outfit that Brandy wore during the choosing ceremony. And if we're really being honest, this episode could have been 30 minutes long and it could have been just as effective. So here are my thoughts on the season as a whole. When I first heard about the show moving to Miami, I hoped and I prayed that the show would learn from its mistakes that they made in the past several seasons. Some of these mistakes include sending people home on the first day, prolonging the elimination of cast members until the following episode, casting the wrong people for the show, and penalizing cast members who find mutual connections early on in the show. And while I'm glad that this season of the show was more lax when it came to allowing cast members who had one solid connection to stay, the show definitely missed the mark in the remaining areas. And the kicker is that this season of the show had some of the most amazing pool of women to be a part of Ready to Love since the Houston season. But there were a few troublemakers that stirred up the drama on the women's side, and the show definitely dropped the ball when it came to casting a number of the guys for the season. As a result, I think that the production and entertainment value for the show had hit an all-time low. Now I know I continue to say this at the end of every season of Ready to Love, but I'm not sure that I want to continue reviewing the show. I appreciate everyone who checks out my reviews, and I'm proud of myself for reviewing every single episode for the season. But I honestly feel that the show has run its course, and watching it any further would be considered cruel and unusual punishment. But those are my thoughts, and this marks the end of my review. If you have any questions or comments about my review or the finale, feel free to leave your comments below and I'll respond to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.